Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. Here are your hosts, Oswin and Lord Knight. Quick question for you.
All right, quick answer.
Why? No, it ain't gonna be no quick answer. Why does everything have to have a disclaimer?
I have no idea.
I mean, aren't certain things implied?
Let's elaborate a little bit more. What are we talking about here? And I sit here and watch some YouTube and different channels and stuff like that. And I just as guilty.
Pot kettle.
Yeah, pot kettle. It seems like when we're talking and doing the podcast and stuff, every so often we need to elaborate that we are talking about our tradition and nobody else's, and not saying that you have to follow it or not follow it. And when I'm watching these, all these other podcasts do the same thing. I got to ask my question. Can we just stop? Can it just be applied that we all know what in the world that we're not trying to?
I suppose. I mean, I don't see why not, but I just think in today's climate, there's just too many people who will take it as we're being authoritative, we're being,
Right.
We're being,
Elitist,
yeah,
elitist,
yes.
authoritarian, gatekeeping,
Yeah.
rude, or
Yeah, and I think that's just the climate of today that we can, I don't think we can no longer just have things implied.
But I hate to be this way. Even when we're done and stuff like that, we will sometimes get comments back that we are rude, blah, 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 even though we've sat there and said in the podcast itself. So again, my question is why are we even doing that? If you're not listening to the fact is that we're saying, we're not telling you how to believe. This is how we believe.
That's a good question.
All right.
If they're not listening, why are we doing it?
Why are we doing it? Because apparently they're not, because they're not hearing us like when we did the whole initiation thing. We had a lot of people come back going, oh, no, y'all were assholes.
Right.
And the whole nine yards, when we kept on telling everybody through that, this is what we believe. We're not saying y'all have to, but this is what we believe and this is the way we look at it. And then you have the people on the other side going, oh my God, no, we got to set our hair on fire, blah, blah, blah. How dare y'all? And then we look at it, but no, that's you telling us how to believe. Oh, y'all gatekeeping, blah, 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 blah. But yet, all the pagan podcasters do this at some point.
To some extent, yeah.
Where they
or they'll have a disclaimer about something else, or, don't try this at home, or there'll be whatever disclaimer involved.
So my question is, have we just become that dumb of a society that we have to remind people every 15 minutes, well, we're not talking about y'all. We're not talking about...
Maybe. I mean, it's kind of like the warning labels. And you look at some of these warning labels and you're like, really? We have to have a label for that?
And apparently so, because again, you get warning labels if somebody's done that.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. Can we stop with the disclaimers?
I mean, yeah, at some point. I mean, when you get coffee and it says caution may contain hot liquids. Well, I ordered coffee. I hope
it's hot.
Unless I ordered iced coffee.
Right.
Specifically.
All because one woman went through a McDonald's drive-through.
And the lid wasn't on.
And she spilled coffee on herself. Well, I got burned. Well, it was hot. What'd you expect?
It's coffee. It's hot. You're handling it through a window, through a car.
So now there's a warning label. You know what? Why don't we just start doing that? No more disclaimers. At least for a few episodes and see where it gets us.
No, I'm being serious.
Trial and error, right?
No. I am to the point on this because I've thought about it over and over again. I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. If y'all can't figure out that I am talking about our tradition and nobody else's, pretty much, what in the world I believe and y'all can't handle it, not my problem.
I mean, we are in season 3. So.
We're in season 3 by now, and if y'all haven't figured this out, then there's other issues there.
Right. I mean, there's 2 years of disclaimers.
But do you see what I'm saying? At what point do we say, okay, this is enough? All right, this is I'm not going to sit there and, oh no, we're not trying to bash this. We're not trying to bash that. We're giving our opinions.
Right.
But then these are also the same people that, you'll sit there and you'll give your opinion on something. And it's like, oh, you have personally attacked me and killed me in my heart.
Well, if that's the case, maybe you need a helmet.
Maybe. Life's rough.
It is, man.
Get a helmet.
Life's rough. Get a helmet.
I mean, but you see where I'm coming with this. At some point,
it gets tiring
to have to repeatedly remind people
right
over and over again.
Right. When it's been said so many times already. And I get that it's like any other thing. I think you're going to have new people coming into it. And I think those people, if there's not a disclaimer somewhere in the audio, somebody somewhere is going to say, well, blah, 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 blah.
Well, now they're just gatekeeping. They're being authoritarian. They're saying that they're the only way. Where, again, like I said, I've seen us sit there and do that, but yet still get the same. We sit there and tell everybody, no, this is what we believe. You believe
we still get the same.
Oh, no. You're just telling everybody how.
So,
how? Again, ignoring the complaint. But again, how is that happening when we've been telling y'all this is the way we believe and you believe the way you want to?
Right.
There's a disconnect there in my head for some reason.
I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. Anytime I'm listening to somebody else and they're expressing their ideas, I'm not thinking, well, they're telling me that this is what I have to do.
I have my issues with Thorn Mooney. Okay? But at no time did her first book, when I was reading it, when I was going through it on Audible, did I ever think, oh my God, how dare her tell me how in the world? No, I thought the book was written. This is what a traditional Gardnerian temple works.
Right.
Is all I got out of it.
Right.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset. It's because there's nothing there. I don't mean that nothing.
There was nothing offensive there.
No, there wasn't. It was just a different religion in the way they do it. Why should I get mad about that?
Right.
Why should I get upset? At no time did I ever feel like in the book she was telling me I had to do it this way.
Right.
I mean, the same thing with going online and doing the same thing. At no point do I ever hear anybody go, no, you have to do it this way. Here's my problems with it. This is what I'm doing it. Here's my theory on it. But every fucking time somebody has to pop and go, you're trying to tell people what. Listen. People start listening.
Again, I think that's the key point, is that people, after a while, people just tune out.
Yes.
They're not really hearing what's being said.
They're not actively listening.
If they were, I don't think we would have these problems.
No. I mean, and again, if you're listening to something and you don't understand it and you're having problems with it, especially if you're listening on like Audible or YouTube or a podcast,
right?
You know what helps? Sit down and start transcribing what in the world's being said.
Right.
Because then you're concentrating on the actual words being said and you'll start hearing what in the world they're saying better.
Well, I mean, you can do that. You can reach out to the people who you're listening to. You can ask them questions. You can try to get clarifying answers. I mean, there's so many other ways that you can do this and still get the gist of what's being said.
Why anyone sits there and does the following, and it drives me up the wall, makes no sense to me. All right. For as much as what I believe in, I believe that I'm not going to change or anything for anybody. Screw you. It's what I believe.
Right.
I have to accept that everybody else in the world is the exact same way. That what they believe is what they believe.
Right.
All right. And I can't change it. No matter what.
No.
What's wrong with this concept?
Not a thing.
Where's this idea? Just because I sit down and listen to a Christian pastor, that somehow that's going to corrupt my belief system.
Right.
just because I'm a Christian and I suddenly listen to a pagan podcast, how in the world that's suddenly going to corrupt my belief system?
Right.
Unless you just don't want people exposed to new ideas. This is where I think the problem is on that. But again, it makes no sense. How in the world you can cut yourself off just by going, nope, can't listen to them. They're too authoritarian.
Well, and I'll admit I'm just as guilty as everybody else sometimes on things like that, because there's just sometimes I sit down and I start listening to somebody, and then I tune them out because I feel like they're not talking to me.
Well, they're not. It's like,
but I'm just saying I feel like they don't have anything for me to listen to.
Right. But again, this is like some of these movies that have been coming out where they've not done so well.
Mm-hmm.
But yet somebody comes out, but this movie wasn't made for you.
Okay.
Again, this happens in the world. There are just some things that aren't made for you.
Right.
There are certain stories I don't like listening to or reading or anything like that, just because don't interest me.
Right. But again, like with some people that I listen to, some of their stuff I don't always get all the way through. Sometimes I get a minute or so in and then I'm done. But
well, again,
I'm not sitting back thinking, well, they're just being elitist.
Right. And no time are you sitting there reading these books. It's the same thing happens in books. You'll start to read a book or something, get so far in, you're kind of like, okay, never mind. There's a couple of books I've done that on.
Well, that's usually because, we get so far into it and you and I will be just like, okay, well, this is just regurgitated information that we've read before, and there's really nothing new here.
There's nothing new here or anything like that. I mean, even
at least for us, might be for somebody else, but
my point is this happens with other books besides Pagan.
Well, sure it does. Yeah.
I mean, I just started the North and the South book.
Oh yeah.
Or something on that. It's supposed to be about the Civil War era, but I really couldn't make it through it because, again, the book wasn't. Way I took it was the book wasn't written for guys. It was written from a woman's point of view about her daily life, and it doesn't interest me.
Right.
I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but again, we're back to I just did it.
Yes, you just did it.
I just did it.
So I'm back to can we really get rid of disclaimers? I don't think we can. I think it's so far ingrained into us that we
blurt them out.
Automatically do it.
Again, it's the same argument like with the whole immigration, because the right says they don't want illegal immigration, and then the left goes, well, you just don't want immigration at all.
Right.
What?
No, that's not what we said.
That's not what was said. But yet it's this and this and that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't understand what causes that. I don't understand what causes people just to go, screw you, blah, blah, blah. Even though you've told me 50,000 times you're not trying to do, you're just telling me what you think and that's it. And
well, and see, then too, I find it fascinating because in the age that we grew up, in the 70s and the 80s, that didn't happen.
No,
there weren't all these disclaimers.
But then I saw everything the other way around. It was, oh, here, listen to this. Here, listen to that. Listen to this person.
Right.
Listen to these idiots over here.
Read this book.
Read this book. Read this book over here because it tells you some stuff that this book didn't.
Right.
Again, that was all going on. We were communicating. It was trying to overdo it.
Right. But again, at no point in there were there any disclaimers that, oh, we're not trying to convert people, or we're not trying to do this, or there were no disclaimers.
No.
It was, read this book. Okay, well, I didn't get anything out of that book. Okay, well, fine.
Try this book.
Try this book.
I don't.
Listen to this person. Maybe you'll get something out of them.
Nothing.
And now all of a sudden, we have to have a disclaimer for everything.
Right. You have to sit there and go, well, nothing wrong with books written by women for women. I don't care. They're just.
So, but that's my point. My point is, I think it's just become so commonplace that I don't know that we can get rid of them.
And why in the world did they suddenly have to become this negative?
I don't know.
Do you see what I'm saying? Why is it that?
Negative how?
Well, again, like I just did, I'm not putting down books written by women.
Oh, yeah.
It's always done in a negative connotation that somehow we are dumping on somebody else, on something else, because we're building something else up.
Well, I think in the case of that, we've become a little defensive.
Okay.
That sometimes you get attacked so many times because of maybe not something you said, but how you said it. The tone may have come across as judgmental or accusatory or aggressive or something that you just got attacked for. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, I've become apologetic about that now. And so I feel like I have to give a disclaimer. I understand that my voice may be a little offensive to somebody. But I promise you, I'm not trying to do this or I'm not trying to do that.
I have to ask, and I'm going to put this up and
All
right. Should we try to promote a no warning month? Kind of like the no shave.
Ooh.
Challenging all the pagan podcasters out there. Try it. 1 month. All your videos. You cannot give out any warnings. You can't give out any disclaimers.
No warnings, no disclaimers. Everything has to be implied.
Implied. Automatically implied.
I wonder if that would work.
I wonder if we could get a challenge like that.
I don't know.
I mean, we might be able to get Jay and Blaze and
maybe
Blue Sage to
maybe
help, but I think it would be interesting. We've never done a challenge, and I just thought about this one.
Well, I tell you what, we'll put a survey up on YouTube.
Okay.
And even if you're listening through iHeartRadio or Spotify or whatever, go to the YouTube channel, take the survey.
Okay. We could put the survey on Twitter.
How about we do that? We'll put it on the Twitter.
We'll put it on the Twitter.
The Twitter. God, I sound like a 70-year-old.
The Facebook. Can you call up the Google and find
it? So we'll put it up on Twitter.
Right.
Go to Twitter, take the survey.
I don't know what we would call it.
I don't know, but let's see if there's even an interest. If there's an interest, we'll put the challenge.
We can call it Implied December.
Okay. Yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah, because there's already no this and that for November.
So let's just, everything's implied.
Okay.
And it's especially good for the Christmas because, again, you get to look at everybody when people look at you and go, have a Merry Christmas. It's implied that they mean that honestly and want you to have a good holiday season.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll do it. Again, I don't know how far it'll go, but shit, it won't hurt to try, right? Let's have fun with it.
Come on. I mean, again, like I said, I find it aggravating because I catch myself doing it and I'm like always going, not again. Now I'm going to have to.
Well, see, I think that's going to be an issue, especially in the beginning. Even if it's just us doing it,
yeah,
I think it's going to be an issue in the beginning because we're really going to have to think about
not doing
it.
Because again, we're sitting here and we're having these conversations, and yes, in the back of my head, every so often that thought's coming up. Well, the way I'm saying this could come off to someone else this way, so now I need to place this caveat at the end of it.
Right.
Instead of just sitting there going, hey, everybody, you know what? The caveat's just always there.
Right. It should be. I mean, that's, like I said before, that's the way it was.
Because it's gotten so bad. I've seen podcasters, that's their introduction. That's how, again, it's not, oh, welcome to Pagan Coffee. It is, remember, everybody has their own.
Maybe we need to just change our intro and say, welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you don't walk away offended, we haven't done our job. How about that? That way everybody knows exactly what they're getting into. There will be no disclaimers.
There will be no warnings. There will, there could be dog whistles and all sorts of
Right? All the little catchphrases that are out nowadays. We're going to have a little bit of everything.
That's it. I'm out of coffee. I'm done.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, the maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning